It was a subtle moment, just a fleeting instant, lasting under a second. A single shot in an extravagant music video, lit with cold lighting and characterized by a clear sense of overproduction. Yet, this brief glimpse was enough to spark a renewed debate among fans. Drake is once again facing accusations of sending a subliminal message to Kendrick Lamar, not through his lyrics, but with a block of ice. Yes, ice. In his latest music video for What Did I Miss?, he is seen inspecting a large, crystal-clear block of ice before walking away with an unreadable expression. Welcome to Celebrity Cookies, where the tea is always hot and the stories come with sprinkles of surprise. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment with your take on the story. For some, it seemed insignificant, just another opulent visual from an artist known for transforming displays of wealth into cinematic art. However, for those closely following the ongoing rivalry between Kendrick and Drake, that single shot felt meaningful. It seemed deliberate, like a provocation or a subtle jab, a form of communication. If you've been keeping up with the saga, you understand what that block of ice signifies. It all began, as these rivalries often do, with a lyric. Specifically, Kendrick Lamar's famous line from Not Like Us, where he raps, "I'd never let a Canadian measure my ice." This was part of a series of sharp critiques aimed at Drake's perceived fixation on luxury, validation, and inauthenticity. In this context, ice, slang for diamonds and jewelry, wasn't just about material wealth, it was about authenticity and who gets to define what is real, what shines, and who truly holds power. Now, months after that track made waves in the music industry, Drake finds himself in a stark room, measuring actual ice. Is it just a coincidence? Perhaps, but for fans deeply invested in the intricacies of this rivalry, things are rarely that straightforward, especially when it comes to Drake. The video for What Did I Miss? Showcases Drake at his most calculated. He appears cool, detached, and stylish to the point of being sterile. He walks through minimalist hallways, poses with expressionless models, and gazes at his reflection in mirrored surfaces. The overall aesthetic conveys a sense of indifference, Drake presenting himself as unfazed and above it all. However, that moment with the ice, that's where the facade starts to crack. The shot is quick, blink and you might miss it. But if you pause and slow it down, you'll see him standing in front of a polished, sculpted block of ice, examining it with a mix of curiosity and calculation. His hand even moves slightly, as if measuring its size. And just like that, fans began to buzz. Screenshots flooded Reddit, Twitter was ablaze with comparisons, and TikTok users conducted frame-by-frame breakdowns, linking the moment directly to Kendrick's diss. One comment read, "Drake just measured ice on purpose. He's trolling Kendrick." Another added, "This man is the king of subliminals." Some were more critical, saying, "This is the most passive-aggressive thing I've ever seen. He really measured ice and thought he achieved something." This situation is peculiar, yet not entirely unexpected. Drake has always been skilled at using subtlety in his work. His projects frequently include background elements, extras in music videos that resemble his competitors, or lyrics that are vague enough to allow for plausible deniability. His body of work is filled with moments where he communicates more through silence than through direct statements. However, this time, the silence may be more pronounced than ever. It's important to recognize that the rivalry between Kendrick and Drake goes beyond just rap. It encompasses legacy, perception, and control. Kendrick's diss tracks were so sharp and culturally impactful that they not only damaged Drake's reputation, but also altered it. Suddenly, every display of wealth, every Instagram post, and every image of a private jet was seen through a new perspective, insecurity masked as luxury. This context makes the moment involving ice particularly significant. Kendrick has already ridiculed that symbolism and deconstructed it. Therefore, for Drake to be literally seen measuring ice seems like a response, perhaps even an acknowledgement. However, let's consider the opposing perspective. Some believe this interpretation is overstated, that the moment lacks real importance, and that fans are reading too much into it. They argue that Kendrick no longer occupies space in Drake's mind. He's simply not a concern anymore. These fans view the video as an artistic expression. To them, the ice is just another extravagant visual in a genre known for such displays. Why wouldn't Drake include a block of ice in his video? He has always showcased luxury, and elevated his visuals. This isn't a diss, it's simply part of his brand. Yet, even if we entertain this perspective, we cannot overlook the context. Drake's team must have anticipated the reactions that scene would provoke. In a post-Kendrick feud landscape, you don't film a scene measuring ice without considering its implications. And still, they chose to include it. This leads us to a larger question. Why? If this is indeed a nod to Kendrick, why would Drake respond in this manner? Why not retaliate with a direct response? Why resort to symbolism? The answer may be both strategic and disheartening. Currently, Drake finds himself in a tough spot. Kendrick's track, Not Like Us, was more than just a successful song. It represented a cultural shift. What began as a diss track evolved into an anthem, turning criticism into a celebration. It didn't just target Drake, it made it enjoyable to mock him. Any response from Drake now would likely seem like an attempt to catch up. Instead of directly confronting Kendrick, he opts to maintain his distance. He relies on visuals and aesthetics, providing imagery that encourages fans to interpret it in their own way. He trades straightforward lyrics for ambiguity. Perhaps a strategy is that if he can't outshine Kendrick in a lyrical battle, he can outlast him by remaining silent. Despite the ongoing debate, Kendrick's fans remain skeptical. For many, this reinforces Kendrick's long-standing belief that Drake prioritizes his public image over genuine influence. They contend that Drake is more concerned with appearances, choosing to pose with props rather than adhering to his principles. One thing is certain, the moment was impactful. Fans are buzzing, and the video is trending. Once again, Kendrick's presence looms large over everything Drake puts out. Even in his subtlety, Drake has made it clear. While the competition may have concluded, the battle for public perception is still ongoing. In that arena, Kendrick has already emerged victorious. It's worth noting that Kendrick didn't need to constantly mention Drake. He didn't have to provide proof, charts, or screenshots. All he needed to do was change the narrative. Now, that narrative is so powerful that even something as simple as a block of ice can be interpreted as a jab at Drake. That's influence, beyond mere lyrical skill, it's cultural power. This is why Kendrick's fans are so vocal right now. It's not just about a moment in a video, but what it represents. Despite Drake's significant success and influence, he is now responding to Kendrick's territory. Kendrick sets the tone, and Drake reacts within it. And perhaps he's aware of this. When you think about it, measuring ice isn't a display of strength, it's an attempt to redefine something that has already been redefined. It's a reaction to a line that has already eclipsed it. It's an effort to reclaim, and a sign of yielding. But the most intriguing aspect of this situation, Kendrick hasn't uttered a word. No tweets, no clips, nothing. He's on tour, performing to sold-out crowds, and his music is climbing the charts without any new releases. His silence amplifies the impact of the image in Drake's video. That's the irony. Drake releases a music video, Kendrick remains silent, yet the focus stays on Kendrick. This isn't coincidental. Whether the ice was a calculated choice is now irrelevant. The perception has been established. Drake measured ice, while Kendrick infused it with meaning. And the fans, they'll take it from there. In 2024, public opinion is not just passive, it's actively scrutinizing. Every lyric, every social media post, and every moment of silence is closely analyzed. In this instance, a single prop in one frame has made a considerable impact. The image of Drake standing in front of a block of ice, not performing, not boasting, but measuring, will be what fans remember. Not the song, not the beat, and not even the video's overall message. Just the ice, and what it represents. This moment perfectly encapsulates the current cultural landscape. One artist is leading, while the other is responding. Meanwhile, millions of fans are dissecting every detail, every still image, and every line that wasn't even meant to resonate so deeply. Yet it did. Now, that block of ice conveys more than most rappers ever could. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on the story.